Oh, what a great way to start the stream. Let's go. Par for the course. Uh how are we feeling today is first question. Is how are we feeling as a group? Sourdough squad, we see you. Let's go. We see the gang. How's the gang feeling today? Are we feeling good? We got some news that just broke as we were about to hop on here, as well as a little late getting on. Good to see all you guys. Yeah, we got to check up on Don Burr. We're going to be coming after Don Burr tough today. Um, I hope you guys are having a blessed day as well. It is great to see you guys in here. We got plenty of talk about. Well, happy birthday to your wife. Hopefully, you and your wife have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the W. Enjoy Victory Monday on the wife's B Day. Congrats. Happy wife, happy life, right? All that good stuff. We see you from Salinas. Let's go. Um, so some of the first things as we get everyone in here, we get everyone hopping in, all that good stuff. Of course, you guys would be doing me a huge favor by smashing that like button, helping getting this thing out there into the algorithm. Would greatly appreciate that. But let's get this thing going. Now that we have all our pleasantries out of the way, we see you guys checking in. Um, let's get into the news right away before we go into anything further. So the 49ers have signed or are signing, according to Ian Rappaport, Dre Kirkpatrick, cornerback slash DB. He's coming in at about 6'2", 190 pounds. He is a cornerback known for his length and size. So this is going to be a guy who will probably be someone that we would like to match up against, your DeAndre Hopkins, your DK Metcalfs, your bigger bodied wide receivers. Not saying he's going to be starting right away. Cincinnati Bengals. Played with Cincinnati from 2012 to 2019. He's definitely a veteran. Kirkpatrick was also someone that we were on the verge of signing. We almost signed Kirkpatrick back in training camp. I think there was a dispute over the dollar amount, and then he ended up not signing. We signed it to Clinton Dix as a result, as well as BW Webb. So Kirkpatrick is actually someone could have been on this team already if it wasn't for some contract issues. So we understand BW Webb didn't work out. Clinton Dix didn't work out. He actually signed with the Raiders practice squad today. So we sign as a result to the injury to Jason Verrett. We sign Dre Kirkpatrick again. He last played with Arizona 2020. Hasn't been with the team this offseason as of yet. Throughout his career, he has 358 total tackles. He's got 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 3 fumble recoveries, 72 pass deflections, 13 interceptions, 2 defensive takedowns. Obviously, Kirkpatrick is on the back end of his career. But that's okay. I like this move. I like the depth. I'm very interested to see how this plays out for the 49ers. So that's the news. We're about to sign a new cornerback that was just announced right before I hopped on. So that appears to be the direction that the 49ers are trending. Obviously, Verrett is headed to IR. His season is done, unfortunately, with the torn ACL. All my thoughts go out to Jason in that regard. That was just a tough thing to watch. I think we all felt that. Dre is 32 years old, if I'm not mistaken. 31. I'm aging him. He's 31. I am 3 months older than him. I'm 3 months older than him. So he will be 32 in October. He's about my age. Me and Drake Kirkpatrick. Sounds like we played at about the same time in college. Or no, yes. So Drake Kirkpatrick, like I said, he's got a body of work. He's got a body of work. He has the experience. He is a veteran. He's probably lost a step, maybe at least from the when I started to see him, especially with Arizona down in 2020. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what he can do with us if he can latch on and stick. That works. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. So we got two veterans now, right? Young hitter just called it out. We got Drake Kirkpatrick. We got Josh Norman. Could be a potential of Richard Sherman. I'll be honest. I reached out to Richard. I said, yo, we need you. We need you coming back. And from everything that Richard had said is he's just waiting for a call. So it sounds like Richard is open to a return, just waiting for the call. So as we had spoke yesterday, around after the game, I don't think he had spoken to the team at that point. But by all accounts, Sherman is open to a return, and that is from the man himself. So just waiting for a call. But the 49ers obviously have went in a different direction. I don't know what that means for Sherman. I don't know if Sherman is an option. We'll see. We'll absolutely see if that happens in the future. So that is the new signing news. Regarding cornerback. Obviously, depth is an issue. We pinpointed this real early in training camp. It's been one of the hot topics of this page and, of course, other content creators, reporters. It's been easy to identify that defensive back depth, whether it was safety or cornerback, seemed thin throughout training camp. And we're in the middle of it right now, week one. Unfortunately, with no Jason Barrett, so that's pretty tough to lose him. Two veterans. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see who steps up. Ambry Thomas has a real strong opportunity in front of him to kind of correct maybe the slow start to camp and really prove some people wrong, myself included. Ambry Thomas definitely had, by all accounts, not the best camp. Diamador Lenore absolutely outperformed him. Absolutely was worth the start and had a fantastic day as a result. But before we get into diving into, kind of recapping which players we liked from yesterday, I definitely want to touch on the Brandon Aiyuk situation. I have a lot of thoughts about the entire Brandon Aiyuk situation and what it means, and like there might be a reason to be worried about the Brandon Aiyuk situation, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But let's plow through the news that came out today. So as we know, Dre Greenlaw left yesterday's game with a groin injury. He did not return. However, he is day-to-day this week. So that is a good sign. That is a good sign that Dre Greenlaw will be back. He obviously had the pick six, is a huge impact to this defense. And we will absolutely talk about Azeez Al-Shaair because I got to do a victory lap. So we'll talk about Azeez Al-Shaair too in a second. But Dre Greenlaw is week to week, should be coming back. Doesn't sound too serious. The unfortunate news surrounding Raheem Mostert's injury, the information came back. He has chipped cartilage in his knee. I'm very curious to understand which knee it is because he does wear a protective brace on one knee all throughout training camp. He wore, I believe it was his left knee. I don't know. I'm thinking off the top of my head. I believe it was his left knee where he wears a protected knee brace on it all throughout camp. So I don't know if there's a correlation, if it's like the same knee and same issue or not, or whatever, an issue that's compounding and kind of stacking on him. But unfortunately, Raheem Mostert, who was our captain, he was starting running back. He is now going to injured reserve. The timetable that they put on Raheem Mostert is about 8 weeks. So that's a lot of time. That's 4 weeks. Raheem Mostert isn't running. That's 4 weeks. Raheem Mostert isn't, necessarily staying in cardiovascular shape as a result, because I can't imagine he can't move very well. He's about to, it sounds like, get a knee scope to kind of clean some of that up. So unfortunately, Raheem Mostert will be down for the count. I would say 8 to 10 weeks. I'm not gonna. I don't want to say it in the sense that I'm pigeonholing Raheem that he can't be back in 8 weeks, but I'm also thinking of the fact there is a little bit of kind of get back up to speed time as well in regards to these injuries. So hoping for the best for Raheem Mostert. And again, I'll take a minute to talk about this because Raheem Mostert is a huge supporter of my page on Instagram. Raheem Mostert I've chopped it up with Raheem Mostert on numerous occasions. He joins my lives probably more than any other player so far on this team. Um, Raheem Mostert's wife is someone that I've developed a relationship with. We chat from time to time, and it's really off-putting what she and Raheem has had to deal with in the face of this injury from our fan base, from the people who call themselves faithful, from the people who wear these jerseys, the people who invest their money into this team. I don't know if it's you guys. I hope it's not. I like to hold my community to a certain standard. I don't take this stuff lightly at all. I don't take the dropping into the DMs, death threats, slandering, the spam of negativity that comes via social media. I don't deal with it. Like, I have zero tolerance, especially from our own fans. It's different if we have outside fan bases trying to talk crap to us. That's completely different. But these are our guys. These are guys that, like I said, we invest in, we put our money into, we put our time and energy into, so hope that these guys are successful so that they're successful for our team. The thing that I really don't like, you can go back to Greg Maben on Monday Night Football 2017 against Green Bay Packers when Aaron Rodgers, league MVP, drove down the field and won the game on Monday night with an insane throw to Devontae Adams against Greg Maben, an undrafted free agent. And 49er fans took it upon themselves to jump into his comments and DMs and literally hundreds and hundreds of comments telling him how trash he is, how he should kill himself, how he should never play football again. This is a young, undrafted kid who got dusted by Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, and our fans took it upon themselves to completely destroy one of our own guys. Brian Allen, last year, 2020, Brian Allen was picked up off the streets before the Dolphins game, thrust into the starting role, and got cooked along with the rest of our team. But what did our fan base do? They went to his Instagram, they went to his comments, they went to his DMs and told him to kill himself. This is not a one-off situation with Raheem Mostert. This is not a one-off situation with Raheem Mostert. The fact that people are DMing him, his wife, him, about an injury and telling him to kill himself, and even if you're not serious, because I know social media, a lot of stuff is said in vain, but you don't say that to people. Like, you don't say that to people. You have no idea what battles these people are going through. You have no idea what they're dealing with internally, mentally, with their family, with their circumstances outside of football. We don't do that. I don't accept that. If you are one of those people that has ever jumped into a player's DM comment section, said anything like that, unfollow, dip, kick rocks. I don't want you here. I don't want you a part of this community. I don't want you here at all. If you have done that and you continue to do that, you don't belong here. You don't belong here. I don't want you here. I want you out. Immediately leave. You can hit the dislike on your way out. That's fine with me. Kick rocks. But to all my people in here that I know that aren't like that, to all my family in here, my sourdough squad, we got to stick together. We got to stick together. This is bigger, man. Sports has changed with the emergence of social media and how we have a voice now. We can overwhelm players. We can overwhelm players with our voice. So we have to hold ourselves to a standard. We have to hold our fans to a standard to set the bar, because this is unacceptable. The captain of our team, his wife with 2 babies getting death threats, absolutely unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. I will not stand for it at all. This isn't a fight that just started for me today either. This is something I have been fighting since Greg Maven. This is something I have been fighting since Mike McGlinchey. This is something I have been fighting since Brian Allen. I've lived through all of these scenarios. I see everything. I hear everything. This is unacceptable. And if you see one of your boys, one of your homies, a friend, or even a stranger drop into one of our players' comments when they are hurt or are going through a serious situation, ratio those mother effers, bro. Ratio them to death, because it is not acceptable. It is not acceptable. So this is my high horse rant. I'll move on here in a second. But I feel very serious about this situation. Like we're football. This is our escape from this stuff. This is our escape from like real hard situations that we deal with in our life, our day-to-day outside circumstances that we can control. But come on, guys, like we got to work together. We got to I know I'm speaking to a lot of people who have the same exact vibe that I do. I know I'm speaking to a lot of the same people that have the same exact vibe that I do. I know you guys agree with me. But if you are one of those, or you know one of those, it's up to you to change the standard for what we have. Because right now I don't like it. I don't like the way that this fan base communicates about injuries. I don't like how they handle injuries. We need to make a shift. We need to make a shift as a group, and we just need to do something different, because what's working right now ain't working. Let's talk about the Niners football. You need to ignore those people. They're not faithful. That's a problem. They call themselves faithful. They buy jerseys. They go to games. They comment on my stuff. They like my stuff. That's a problem. So I want to take this opportunity that this is something, like I said, this is important to me. This isn't something that I'm talking about for the first time today. I talk about this all the time. So I just want to make sure that in this community that we do right by our players, because they feel us. They feel us, man. They feel us. Like, I don't know how many examples I need to show you guys. Like, of how these players see everything that you say and everything that you do. Everything. And it impacts them. So that's why I'm hypersensitive to it. All right, let's move on. Apologies. I got off there on a rant a little bit. Obviously, this impacts me quite a bit. I don't like it. And this will be something that will be a big point of emphasis for me if it continues to happen. But that's my piece. I'm not going to go crazy into the weeds with it, but I expect this community, the Sourdough Squad, to do their part. That's what I expect. And I have faith in every single one of you. All right. Rant over. Woo! Woo! Let's go. I'm hyped now. I'm ready to fight someone. That's the thing, man, dude. Football gets me hyped up. I see you guys want to talk about Aiyuk. Let's talk about Aiyuk. Let's talk about Aiyuk real quick. So I think a lot of people miss this tweet. I think a lot of people miss this tweet. Matt, I'll pull it up here. Drop over, but I can't remember if it was during the game or what. But Matt Mayoko, because obviously every single one of us had the same question. Before I go on, Sandra, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Suicide is no joke. I'm very sorry that you and your family had to go through that and probably still deal with that daily. You're right. We don't wish that on anyone. We don't put that energy on anyone. So I appreciate you sharing your story. And that's why we are here to uplift. We are not here to put these people down in this way. So Sandra, thank you so much for sharing. And we're with you. The faithful got your back. You ever need anything, Sandra, you hit us up. All right. You hit us up, Sandra. Let's see here. Let me get this thing up real quick. Woo! Let me go here. Let me get it accepted. Thank you. So, like I said, we were all going through that game. Like, where is Brandon? Where's Aiyuk? Again, I'm a big fantasy guy. I'm a big 49er fan. All that kind of stuff. Like, I'm integrated into this team big time. So when Brandon Aiyuk isn't playing, when they're running out 3 wide receiver sets and it's continuously Sanu, Sherfield, and Debo, you're like, what is happening? And then the questions come throughout the process of, oh, he's hurt. He must be hurt. It's a hamstring, right? That's what he's dealing with in training camp. It's hamstring, right? It's hamstring. Wait. There's Aiyuk. He's returning punts. Oh, wait, no, there's Aiyuk. He just went in for one play. Oh, there's Aiyuk. He just ran a deep crosser. Wait, where'd Aiyuk go? Wait, why is it just Debo? Wait, why is it? So we went through that. We went through that live in the game situation together. So let me see if I get this pulled up. I wasn't planning on getting it pulled up. That's why it's kind of super sloppy. So I apologize. Let me get this thing prepped up, ready for you guys. Just because I want you to see. I want you to see it. Let's read along together. So again, we're wondering where Brandon Aiyuk is. Where's Brandon Aiyuk? Where is he? I don't know. Where could he be? And so someone asked that. Someone tweeted at Matt Mayoko. Of course, Matt Mayoko is the most plugged in media reporter that there is. I don't know. It's hard to say. Because I don't want to speak in generalization or speak out of turn. But he's tapped in. He knows what's going on. They let him know. So essentially, when Matt Mayoko and someone asked Matt Mayoko, where's Brandon Aiyuk? And that's what he was quote tweeting. And this is what he said. He said, after a hot start to training camp, Brandon Aiyuk tallied off dramatically. He is still learning how to be a pro. Kyle Shanahan clearly favors some of the other wide receivers right now. Message sent. Like, no one had this context. No one. Not one person had this context. And the thing is now that Matt Mayoko put this out there yesterday, you can see how it's trickling down now, because this is insight into why Brandon Aiyuk didn't play yesterday. This is absolutely insight into Brandon Aiyuk not playing. People wanted to point to the hamstring injury. Oh, he was hurt, right? He was hurt. Well, if he's hurt, you don't put him out there for punt return. If he was hurt, you don't put him out there for split snaps with Trent Sherfield. Trent Sherfield played one more snap than Brandon Aiyuk. All things considered, they still pretty much, split reps, but in the way they split reps within the opportunity and with how it was schemed. Oh God, Don. Well, good to see you here, Don. Good to see you here. Hopefully, Coach shows up while you're here. Hopefully, Coach. But I'm in the middle of a rant, so you're going away now. So one of the things with this whole tweet is what's opened up the floodgates. If Matt Mayoko doesn't tweet this, we're just chalking it up to injury. Because again, what did Kyle Shanahan say today? He said essentially that same thing. Well, Trent, he mentioned Trent, so he didn't want to discredit Trent. He said Trent had a really good practice, but Brandon Aiyuk is still kind of behind the eight ball. Like, not he didn't really necessarily say behind the eight ball. I gotta find the quote. But the thing is this opened up a situation. This opened up a situation. Well, shout out Don. We appreciate you. You are a gentleman and a scholar for finding us and coming to pay your end of the bet. We appreciate it. We'll of course let the coach know. You are welcome here, Don, whenever you like. Thank you for holding up your bargain of the bet, and we'll of course get this squared away once Coach hops on. So essentially, what the whole point of this is this all indicates that there's an issue. This tweet indicates that there's an issue. Again, if Matt Mayoko doesn't tweet this, we're moving on. We are talking about Brandon Aiyuk's probably dealing with a hamstring injury. They're probably splitting reps to bring him on slowly. They want to kind of ease him back into gameplay. Yeah, okay, we would have all bought that. Every single one of us would have bought that and drank that Kool-Aid if that's what was told to us. And that's essentially what Kyle Shanahan said today. But the problem is you can't take back this tweet. You can't. And this is coming from a person who has too much information to just like give an opinion piece like this. This isn't opinionate. This doesn't feel like it's an opinion. Like this feels like this is based on information. This is based on the facts of the situation. And that created today a much larger discussion. So because of this tweet, I just made a hype video for week 1. I used a lot of the clips from the Brick by Brick. Shout out to the 49ers. They do such a fantastic job with the Brick by Brick series, and they get some of the sickest, dopest shots, and they always drop them in the Brick by Brick. So I'll give my secrets away. I love going to Brick by Brick and finding clips for highlights and height mixes and stuff like that. So because of all this stuff happening today, I was like, you know what? Screw this, because I'm a big Brandon Aiyuk believer. I was like, I'm gonna go make a little Aiyuk hype tape. I'm gonna make a little Aiyuk hype tape. All right. I already had the 3 Brick by Brick episodes on my camera roll. Those things are long. Like they're editorials, like they're like mini documentaries. And woo, I scrolled through that thing multiple times, and there's literally barely any visual of Brandon Aiyuk. Like it really looks like Brandon Aiyuk doesn't exist. If you were to look at those brick by bricks, like you're telling me the number one, and they not only is he not in there, but they featured Debo, and they featured Trent Sherfield, and they featured Trent Sherfield in a way that makes Trent Sherfield look like the most likable player on this team. And with Trent Sherfield jumping Aiyuk now based on this tweet, that's what this tweet says. Brandon Aiyuk tallied off dramatically. That's an indication of play. And 2, he is still learning how to be a pro. That is an indication of mindset. So that is 2 severely substantial things when it comes to talking about Brandon Aiyuk. Is tallied off dramatically. That's a consistency issue because we know the talent is there. The talent is not the problem. Tailed off. Thank you. Sorry. Tailed off dramatically. And he is learning how to be a pro. The learning how to be a pro thing is what set it off. Like, I was at camp. I saw Brandon Aiyuk. I actually thought Brandon Aiyuk did fine in camp. I thought Brandon Aiyuk did worse in the preseason games. I didn't think Brandon Aiyuk looked fantastic in preseason. However, I was at training camp. I didn't go to the open practices in LA, however, but in most of the training camps, I thought Brandon Aiyuk did okay. Y'all roasting me. Hey, man, reading ain't my strong suit. That's what happens when you smash heads for a living. So that was the thing. Like, I'm a big fantasy guy. I'm a big Brandon Aiyuk guy. I was watching Brandon at training camp, 10 plus days at training camp. I've been to every preseason game, or I've been to the 2 preseason games. Of course, watched the 3. I didn't feel like I saw a dramatic tail off. Like, I feel like he might have struggled maybe, but I don't feel like I saw anything that would indicate this. That he tailed off dramatically. So that's the thing is, but it's the follow-up. The follow-up to it is he's still learning how to be a pro, which indicates to maturity. How learning how to be a pro in this world, when you say that about a first or second year player, that is an indication of mentality. That is an indication of maturity. That is an indication of poise, all of those intangible things. That's what learning how to be a pro is. Learning how to manage situations, learning how to be punctual, learning how to do what you're supposed to do every single time. That's what being a pro is. Being a pro is handling all the small things over and over again. So we know with Brandon, the talent isn't the issue. The talent isn't the issue. So this changed the entire conversation today. Especially the message sent period, like to again tie this entire message into a bow that this is not like an opinion. This is information. This is information from a team, from the team reporter, who is locked in the most with the team kind of ideologies, thought processes, messaging. He's in there. So this opened up a even bigger conversation today, because again, look at, and this is where the doghouse thing comes into play, right? We're talking about Kyle Shanahan's doghouse. The Kyle Shanahan doghouse. Hold on a second. We're talking about the Kyle Shanahan doghouse. Oh man, I've lived in the Kyle Shanahan doghouse. I know what it smells like in there. I know what it's like in there. I've cuddled up with a few puppies in there. I know the doghouse well. Trent Taylor was in the doghouse. Dante Pettis was in the doghouse. Ahkello Witherspoon was in the doghouse. Apparently now Brandon Aiyuk is in the doghouse. Burrito was in the doghouse. A lot of running backs. The funny thing about Kyle Shanahan is a lot of running backs it's typically running backs and wide receivers that end up in the doghouse. Those are the positions that typically land in that situation. However, we've seen it with, like I said, Ahkello Witherspoon. You look at Ahkello Witherspoon. I'll to this day say Ahkello Witherspoon was the best cornerback that we had on the roster in 2019, up until right before the Browns game when he got hurt. He had played in those 3 games. I charted every single one of his snaps. He was by far the best cornerback on the field for the 49ers. It was when he went down with the injury and he came back. He could never make it back. And from all accounts, I mean, his dad is someone who's all over social media and has no problems telling their side of things. I've heard from a couple other people, similar situations. It was just It was just a situation where they got into something of like a mental tug of war. And so what the bigger conversation that comes of this is seeing a Trent Taylor. Well, Trent Taylor, before he got injured, by all accounts, looked like he was headed in the right direction. Never made it back. Akello was playing as one of the best quarterbacks on our team. Got hurt. Never made it back. Who else? Matt Breida got hurt early after being a fantastic looking running back for us. Didn't work out. So do I think Brandon Aiyuk is like any of those guys? No, he's not. Brandon Aiyuk is a first round pick. Are any of these other guys first round picks? Did they trade up for any of those other guys? No. Burrito was undrafted free agent. Trent Taylor was a 5th round pick. Like, this is the first guy. I mean, Dante Pettis, you can look at Dante Pettis. Dante Pettis, they traded up into the 2nd round. Dante Pettis had a fantastic rookie year. By all accounts, Dante Pettis looked like he was going to be a fantasy god. Like, it looked like we had found our number one. Looked like we had found that like unconventional route runner who just knew how to get open and create separation. Because what do we always say? Kyle Shanahan covets wide receivers that can create separation. And so, we got our guy. We got him. They traded up to him. He's like a record setter in the NCAA as a punt returner. Like, we're going to use him as a punt returner. Like, dude. And what happened in year 2? He disappeared. And it was like this. It was just like this. And so that's why when you start to stack trends, one-offs happen all the time. But how you project is by stacking trends. You try to analyze and understand the trends that keep occurring, right? You try to understand. And we are identifying a trend here. You saw it with Dante Pettis. We are now seeing it with Brandon Aiyuk, which is why I am worried, which is why I'm a bit concerned, which is why if like I'm in fantasy football right now and I own I thankfully have Trent Sherfield in every one of my leagues that I own Brandon Aiyuk. So it's not a problem for me. I'm covered. But like from a fantasy perspective, if you got Aiyuk, you're scrambling because you drafted him high. You drafted him to be either your 1st or 2nd wide receiver, maybe 3rd in some cases. But you're scrambling right now. So this is going to be something that we are going to follow because, again, one of the things when it comes to football that I think maybe the average fan doesn't necessarily realize is, although what we see on the field is extremely physical, that game is more mental than you can even fathom. The mental that comes from the technique, situational, based on your scouting report of the guy standing in front of you. There's so much mental things that go into being a football player. So if you're not right mentally, you're not processing properly. So that's my biggest concern is I have seen this situation where Kyle has had guys go to the doghouse, but the problem with the doghouse is people don't come back. And that's why I'm nervous. I'm not saying Brandon Aiyuk can't come back and won't come back and won't ball out next week and, won't put up 120 right in our face with 2 touchdowns and be like, screw you, I'm here. Like, I'm not saying he won't do that, but the trends that we're identifying make me worried. Because can he withstand this? When he's saying he's still learning how to be a pro, is there anyone teaching him how to be a pro? He has Mohamed Sanu in that locker room. Brandon Aiyuk was outspoken when it came to the 49ers releasing Mohamed Sanu in 2020. I mean, you have a pro's pro. You have a pro's pro in Mohamed Sanu in that locker room, in that wide receiver room. I feel like that would be a great person of influence and guidance for Brandon Aiyuk in a situation like this. But he's apparently still learning how to be a pro, according to Matt Mayoko. Now, does the tailed off dramatically correlate with the mental? Like, was there a situation where that occurred and, you know, Kyle handled it how he handled it and Ayuk reacted how he knows how to react? Like, there's so many situations. Like I said, this tweet opened up the floodgates for speculation. This tweet opened up a situation where Brandon Aiyuk could be in trouble. Do I think he's in trouble? I hope not. He shouldn't be. He's very talented. He's very good. He's much better than Dante. Like, hindsight is what it is, but hey, let's go back and put our draft scout hats on. I scouted Dante Pettis and I scouted Ayuk. Ayuk is far away better than Brandon Aiyuk in so many different ways. So many different ways. Um, Cap says something interesting here. Cap says, "Do you think Ayuk maybe doesn't support Jimmy G being QB and wants Lance to start?" See, that's the thing. Is like like I said, this whole tweet opens up the floodgates. It opens up the floodgates for speculation. It opens up the floodgates for like I saw someone like mentioning like vaccination status. We're talking about, is it like Jimmy G versus Trey Lance? I would like to think that these guys are enough of professionals that they can get through that. But if going back to Matt Mayoko's tweet, if Brandon Aiyuk is still learning how to be a pro, maybe that could be it. Maybe he does believe that Lance should start. Maybe Ayuk doesn't agree with how Kyle Shanahan has managed this offseason in regards to the Jimmy G, in regards to the Trey Lance situation. Maybe he doesn't agree. Like, so there are so many like larger conversations that can be had because of this Dan tweet. This tweet, although it's information, which is what we want. Shout out Cap. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. Um, this this tweet changes the narrative. This tweet changes the narrative. It changes the context. So that's something that we are now on high alert. Before we were on high alert, I was on high alert. I saw you dropping passes. I saw Trent Sherfield balling out. I saw it. But I also saw Ayuk making some dope ass catches in practice. I also saw Ayuk bailing out his quarterbacks because they were throwing damn high over the middle. And his monster arms went up and got it. Like, you know how many times I saw that situation play out? So it's not talented. It's not talent. Like when he says Brandon Aiyuk tallied off dramatically, he's still learning how to be a pro. That's a mental thing. That is something going on between potential communication issues, whether maturity issues. That's what we're talking. We don't know what it is. That's why this tweet is crazy, because it opens up the speculation, opens up the floodgates, because the message was sent according to Matt Mayoko. So now what we have to see, right? If the message is sent, well, what does Ayuk respond back with? The message was sent. Was it received? And this is the next kind of phase of this thought process that makes me a little nervous, is because I don't feel any of the players that have been put in Kyle Shanahan's doghouse have received the message, if that makes sense. Like, Dante Pettis never bounced back. Akella Witherspoon never bounced back. Trent Taylor never bounced back. Like, all these guys that got put in the doghouse, they never came out of it. And that's my biggest concern, because I understand as well, as someone who is big on psychology, this specific type of discipline method doesn't work for everyone. Now, I'm not going to say I know, because this is being all off this one tweet. Everything that I'm saying is off of this one tweet. But that's what I'm saying, why it's so impactful, because Matt put a lot out right here. And so not everyone reacts the same way to being pushed down, to be pushed to the side in the hopes of they'll fight through it, because I know that's what he wants. I know what Kyle Shanahan wants is he wants Brandon Aiyuk to be like, all right, I'm a man. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to fight through this. I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to, of course. And that's what we want for him as well. But not everyone responds to that the same way. And the reason why I'm nervous is because the players who have come before him and have entered that doghouse have not returned. So we have Trent Sherfield. If you followed me, if you followed Jason Aponte, if you followed Jordan Elliott, if you followed various beat reporters all throughout training camp, Trent Sherfield is for real. And we've been saying Trent Sherfield is for real from the first day we saw him. So what are we doing? What does that make? So again, larger discussion. Does that make Aiyuk able to be moved? Do we go down that route? Like, I don't know, man. Like, again, it's a tough conversation. It's a weird situation. We don't know the answers. We're speculating. This is pure speculation off of this tweet. So that's why it's really difficult when Kyle Shanahan comes out today and basically says there's no issue. It's just, he's dealing with the injury and Trent Sherfield played really well. Those are the issues. So it's contradictory. Kyle Shanahan contradicts this piece of information. So Kyle spoke on it today and it contradicted this. So who's wrong? I tend to believe the people who know this type of information, because I don't feel like anyone wants to go out on a limb to say this kind of stuff, especially a guy like Mayoko, just to cause problems. He's a reporter. He's reporting on information. And guess what? That information sometimes blows back at people like Kyle Shanahan, like it is today. There's a certain, again, this conversation that I'm having, a lot of other people are having the same conversation too. So it changes the narrative. So now the narrative has changed on Brandon Aiyuk. So we are week one. We're through week one. And now the situation has shifted towards, is Brandon Aiyuk in trouble? Is Brandon Aiyuk going to get traded? Is Brandon Aiyuk have a long-term home here with the 49ers? If him and coach aren't vibing, what does that mean? He's still learning how to be a pro? Is that a shot at his maturity? And Kyle Shanahan clearly favors some of the other wide receivers right now. Message sent. What's the message that we're sending? Again, that is the key context, is what's the message that we're sending? Oh, you're not maturing up to our level, so we're going to bench you and then publicly release the information that you've been benched for your play tailing off dramatically, and you're not learning how to be a pro fast enough for us. So message sent, right? That is a bad message, in my opinion. Again, I'm not in the locker room. I don't have that context. There's plenty more context to this situation. I don't have it. But just from the context that I do have, which is all of us, the same as fans and us being on the outside looking in, we all have this same context. This is the context that the majority has. So this is the context that we're going to speak on. And it's wild. It's wild. And some people are saying I'm reading too much into this. There's a reason why we are good at what we do. There's a reason why you're in here watching. There's a reason why we so it is what it's very interesting. It's very interesting. And it's funny because I like the people who discredit information that's right in front of them. Like it doesn't exist. Like it's a figment of their imagination. Like, oh, that's how can that be true? I'm not looking at something right in my face. But it is what it is. You guys can say I'm looking too far into it, or this is just how I view things through multiple lenses and multiple perspectives to be able to understand what's going on here. Because what Matt Mayoko has told you straight to your face is that Brandon Aiyuk is not grasping what it is to be a Niner fan or to be a pro at this point. So that's the information that we're taking. And moving on with it. So again, this is not factual. This is pure speculation, and we're going through every one of the range of outcomes that can come from this information. Um, so what we are going to be looking now for, because of this tweet, is the response. Like we said, the information is out there, and let's see how this translates into next week. All right. You guys are clearly over the conspiracy theories, so we will move on. What else do we want to talk about today? So we're done with the Aiyuk. Hopefully Aiyuk bounces back. And like we said, this is all being said in vain. So the hope is Brandon Aiyuk comes out against Philadelphia Eagles and balls out as a result. That will be a situation that we look at next week. Don Burr is here. He's trying to pay coach, and we got to shout out Don Burr for being a great sport. I really wish you stopped by yesterday, Don, though. We missed you. We missed you. We missed you. Well, this is the point. If he wasn't in the doghouse, why did he return 2 punts and why did Trent Sherfield play one more snap than him and he gets 0 targets? That's the point. It's like we've all kind of looked at Aiyuk as the number 1 wide receiver. He looked like that at camp, like he was used that way, and he's not being used that way now. So what does that say? No. Absolutely not. Do not drop Aiyuk. Don't do that. Absolutely don't do that. Like we said, we're hoping that this is just kind of like, so you see this in college. Think about this from a perspective of college. There is a long off season. Like, let's say there's an issue that occurs before a game. There will be players that are suspended for the first half, for the first game. A lot of the kind of like disciplinary things that happen in the off season, they kind of get taken care of in the first week of the year. And it's, again, the point of it is to set the tone for the rest of the season. So now, like this, with this situation, there's been a tone set. Also, there was a tone set with Trey Sermon, which I don't know. Again, we wouldn't be thinking this hard about Brandon Aiyuk if Matt Mayoko didn't send that tweet. But that tweet's out there, and that changes a lot of information, at least from my perspective. And with Trey Sermon, he was also inactive, which was a bit of a surprise. But is it because Elijah Mitchell balled out? Elijah Mitchell had a fantastic game. Not only did Elijah Mitchell ball out, but JaMychal Hasty, man, continues to look so damn good. Chase says the legend is Brandon didn't drink his pickle juice. Got to drink your pickle juice, man. Got to drink your pickle juice. But I think with Trey Sermon, it made a little bit more sense because Trey Sermon, I don't think has a special teams role. I don't think Trey Sermon has a special teams role, whereas Elijah Mitchell does as a returner. But also, one of the things with what am I saying? With Trey Sermon, he just doesn't have that special teams experience. So I'm interested to see if he'll be up next week. They already mentioned he'll be up and all that good stuff. But Hasty played really well. Hasty played phenomenally. His one cut ability is super nice. Even on that touchdown play, if you go back and watch, um, McGlinchey. So McGlinchey had a guy on the inside shade. So it looked to be like a zone. It looked like to be kind of like a zone left. And so in that blocking scheme, um, McGlinchey has to shoot his face across the inside shaded tackle to be able to cut off the angle. The D tackle did a really good job creating penetration, but Mike McGlinchey also did a good job to be able to try and counteract that penetration. But what had happened is it kind of forced McGlinchey a little bit further back in the line of scrimmage than he wanted to. And Hasty gets the handoff, takes one step, almost does like this stop jump, and cuts it to the right off the other side of McGlinchey, and McGlinchey gets the pancake because of the little move that Hasty put on him. But what was so sick about that move is, like, again, it happened in a phone booth. It happened in such a tight area where Hasty is in the process of taking the handoff. He's seeing the defensive tackle get penetration off the right side. This is a zone left. It's a zone left play. He's supposed to be running to the left. Because he sees the pressure on the interior immediately coming from the right side, he knows he needs to bounce it out to the right based on Mike McGlinchey's blocking style. And again, it's perfect because if JaMycal Hasty stayed on his track, that would have been a tackle for loss. It would have been a tackle for loss. It would have looked probably a little bit ugly for Mike McGlinchey. But because you have good zone read backs and that zone read back and Hasty knows what he's doing, he immediately sensed the pressure coming from the right and bounced it out to the right, which created the proper leverage for McGlinchey, which created a McGlinchey pancake. It was beautiful. It really was beautiful. I think JaMycal Hasty has honestly proven he could be a great goal line back. I think JaMycal Hasty has the ability to make a lot of quick reads in those like really tight areas where there's a ton of mess and then just shoot and plow through it. So I think JaMycal Hasty deserves a lot of credit. I think he deserves a lot of credit. I think he looked pretty damn good as well. Of course, Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell is a smooth criminal. He looks good, man. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy about that. I'm sure you guys are as well. But Mitchell just really, you can see his vision. I think one of the most underrated thing about Elijah Mitchell's game is his vision. Uh, the ability to time things. He has the ability to adjust his speed, start, stop, then burst. Just he finds it. He knows how to find the hole. He knows how to cut against the grain. I think the 49ers are in really good shape. And if Trey Sermon can get in here and start chugging along and start getting some snaps and start getting some reps, the 49ers still have a really, really talented running back room. So although it really hurts to lose Raheem Mostert, and Raheem Mostert, I mean, we saw, right? Like those first two runs he had, like I personally was like, oh my goodness, Raheem Mostert's going to go for $150 today. Like it just felt like Raheem Mostert was about to go absolutely insane. And unfortunately, after the second carry, goes 2 for 20, and then re-injured the knee. and then we didn't get to see him for the rest of the game. But Jeff Wilson, they did talk about Jeff Wilson today. He should be back and within a couple weeks. So I think it's going to be good timing. I think it's going to be a good timing for us to get Jeff Wilson back at the time that we're going to be getting him in. So, and he'll be another guy that just adds another piece to the tool belt for Kyle Shanahan when it comes to running. So I'm super excited to see what comes of that. The offensive line looked really solid, looked really stout. These guys were blocking like maniacs up front. So overall, the offense did pretty well. Spencer says, great to see D Ford back off the edge. Yeah, I agree. It was fantastic. I did see there was like a little thing that he might have been dealing with. Like, what did they say? I think it's like a knee sprain. I saw something where D Ford was dealing with a little nick or something. No one made it appear or made it sound serious or alluded to it being serious. So we'll see. Is Mitchell worth picking up in fantasy? Yeah, I feel like you're going to be lucky if you get Mitchell at this point. If you have a free agent, a fab system, free agent acquisition budget, so where you throw, everyone has an opportunity to bid on a waiver wire bid or free agent. I imagine Elijah Mitchell, he's going to get the max thrown at him. I imagine like there's going to be, if you have like $100 free agent budget and it's week 1, there's going to be someone in these leagues that throw $100 on Mitchell to ensure that they get him. Because if you're not a 49er fan, what does that look like to you? Again, Trey Sermon is inactive. Trey Sermon was inactive. It was looking like it was going to be at the Raheem Mostert show. Well, guess what? Raheem Mostert's out for weeks. So if you're not a 49ers fan, you're going after Mitchell. Like if you're just if you're an Eagles fan who lives in Philadelphia and you need a running back, you are throwing all your money at Elijah Mitchell right now. So if you can get him, because it's going to be tough. Like people are going after him. I thankfully own a lot of Elijah Mitchell in all my dynasty leagues. So, and I also have a lot of Trey Sermon in those same leagues. So although it was painful on one hand to not get the playing time out of Trey Sermon, I still have Elijah Mitchell on my bench in a lot of situations. So it's bittersweet. Same as Aiyuk. I have so much Aiyuk stock, but as much Aiyuk stock I have Trent Sherfield stock. So there's a give and take. We just want to know who's the guy. If you got Mitchell in Dynasty, you're loving life right now. If you got Mitchell in Dynasty, you're absolutely loving life right now. A lot of my waiver claims don't clear until tomorrow. Again, it's Monday Night Football tonight, so my waivers don't clear till Tuesday. So we're gonna find out. And you want to know what I did? So you know what? This is my fantasy tip. What happens with fantasy is you tend to overthink things. You tend to overprocess. You tend to overanalyze. You tend to overlook matchups. At the end of the day, follow your damn gut. I picked up JaMychal Hasty right at the last second, but when I did it, my gut was like, you need to pick up Elijah Mitchell instead of JaMychal Hasty. And I was like, but then my head said, well, he was hurt for 2 weeks. He didn't get a lot of reps in training camp. He didn't play in preseason very much. Like, it's got to be JaMychal Hasty who's going to get the first crack at it, right? It's got to be just based on that logic. But my gut was like, man, you should grab Elijah Mitchell. But my head was telling me like, but Elijah hasn't played very much. Does that mean he'll get a lot of run today? I grabbed JaMychal Hasty. Hasty still got me a touchdown, but Elijah Mitchell is clearly the one to have. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because JaMychal Hasty also could be used, in my opinion, as kind of the red zone goal line back. Elijah Mitchell, if he's not scoring from 20 yards out, it could be a situation where we get into the goal line, similar to how we saw it play out yesterday, where JaMychal Hasty is the goal line back. So I think both are worthy of ads. I think JaMychal Hasty is worthy of an ad. Trey Sermon is on a team right now. So if you can get either one of them, just get your hands on them and hope one of them busts. You got a good shot at it, so we'll see. Let's see. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I'll let you guys ask me a couple questions before we hop off. I see I'm an hour 6 in. Ask Aiyuk if he's in the doghouse. Totally. What's up, sourdough gang? Let's go. I mean, at this point, Kyle Shanahan told all of us Mitchell over Sermon. So these are the things, though, with Kyle's. He's so volatile. Week to week, matchup to matchup, it's really hard to project. So we'll see. We'll follow it through this situation. We'll see. What do we do at corner? Well, we signed Drake Kirkpatrick today. How do we defend Metcalf and Hopkins? I think we can also look at Jimmy Ward to help with those guys. Jimmy Ward has been someone that has come down and guarded these guys in the past, both Hopkins and DK Metcalf. Jimmy Ward does have experience against them, and he's done okay. He's done pretty well. He's gotten beat a couple times, but for the most part, he's done all right. In regards to cornerback, what do we do? Emmanuel Mosley has also played pretty well on Metcalf and Hopkins as well. And I also look at Drake Kirkpatrick. We talked about his length earlier. He's about 6'2", 200 pounds, 190. Seems like a perfect type of measurable to match up with a Metcalf or a Hopkins. So it's going to be interesting, though. We're going to have to play it by ear. Emmanuel Mosley, Diamador Lenore, we're really going to need Ambry Thomas to take a step forward a lot quicker than anticipated. It is. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard to take a Shanahan running back in Dynasty. It's so volatile. It's really hard. It's really hard to project how he uses those people. It's really hard to project how he uses wide receivers if we haven't noticed as well. Because when you think you got a number one wide receiver on your team, he benches them. So we'll see. Stafford is better on the Rams because the Rams were always better than the Lions. Yeah. Yes. True. Should we really be worried about Stafford? I mean, we're playing in the toughest division in the NFL, man. We're playing in the toughest division in the NFL. The Seahawks look good. Arizona looks good. Rams got better. Yeah, it's tough. And they got weapons. They got weapons on that offense. I know they lost Cam Akers, but I'm a big Henderson guy. I have a lot of faith in Henderson. I think he's really good. If you got him in fantasy, you're super happy right now. But should we be worried? I mean, we shouldn't take anyone in this division lightly. We shouldn't. I don't think the Rams didn't get worse, in my opinion. They got better. When I look at the Cardinals, they got better. They didn't get worse. They got better. When I look at Seattle, hell, they got better. They did, whether we like to admit it or not. So that we got to get better now. And we looked better at the beginning of that game yesterday, but we could do better. We could be better. We could do a couple things a little bit differently. And yeah, so worried. I'm not worried because it's any given Sunday. I feel like we still match up really well with all these teams. I still feel like we have a lot of talent on this team. I still feel like with Kyle Shanahan calling the plays, there's an opportunity to always win. But is there a bigger question that it's starting to feel like we can always lose as well? Because I'm not going to lie. Do we feel confident up 3 scores anymore? Like do you guys this isn't I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Like genuine. This is something that I've been thinking about, and I want your guys' input on this. Do you feel comfortable now with, again, we have the PTSD from the Super Bowl. I don't think that will ever leave us. We have that PTSD. We don't even have the PTSD. We saw what happened with Atlanta, right? In their Super Bowl. We saw that. Kyle Shanahan was the OC. Now, in week 1, multiple touchdown lead into the third quarter. We feel very confident, and we almost lose the game. So do you, as a fan, feel confident with a 2 to 3 touchdown lead heading in the third quarter? Do you think you're going to feel confident, or do you feel like there's going to be a sense of anxiety? No matter how many touchdowns we're up, no matter how many touchdowns we're up, is there going to be a sense of anxiety? Do you feel like you're going to be comfortable in the third quarter up 3 scores? And you start seeing prevent defense, you start seeing them try to run out the clock. Do you feel confident? I see a yes. I see a no. Let's see. Yes, if we keep all the starters on the field. Seriously, I don't feel confident with the 3-score lead until the game is over. Again, that's the conversation we're having right now. Do you feel confident with the 3-score lead in the third quarter? Do we feel confident anymore, or is this becoming like a bigger conversation? Yes, because I know how easily the secondary falls apart. Red Eye says it's Kyle letting off the gas. Screw this prevent defense. No such thing, which I do agree with. Why are we changing? And I'm not saying this is what Kyle did yesterday or whatever. I'm just saying, speaking in generalities. Like, why would you stop doing what has worked to prevent something that you've already stopped? That those ideologies and thought processes, I have a hard time understanding. It's like, if you're destroying someone with a certain plan, keep doing the plan. Don't stop doing it. Just keep doing it. And that's your game plan, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I got a yes from E Nice. Ryu, I see that comment. We talked about that earlier, but I kind of agree a little bit with you. I see you, Coach. We'll get to you in a sec. Ryan says, I always have anxiety. No lead is ever big enough. I got PTSD from cornerbacks. Kenneth says, more gas, less brake. Yes. Hell no. Only Harbaugh does that well, running out the clock. That fourth quarter letdown is a big wake-up call for Kyle. I think we have to stay on the gas pedal, go for the throw, and stay on it until they are completely dead. Jimmy talked about this yesterday. Jimmy talked about this at the podium yesterday. Just like he talked about the mood on the sideline, Everyone started lightening up. Sound like the Super Bowl? I'm just saying. It's one game. Thank you for pointing out the obvious. We had 2 fourth quarter turnovers. Yep. Norm says Kyle Shanahan is the reason he's not confident. He's one of the reasons I am confident. I'll say that. I'm not to that point yet at all with Kyle Shanahan, but I can understand how some people would be. So yeah, that was the point. I think we got it across. I hear what you guys are saying. Let me go back to this real quick. Where's Don? Oh, he dropped the Cash App too. He dropped the Cash App. Don, where you at? Where's Don at? There he is. There he is. Look at this. Look at this. Hey, everyone. We peer pressure Don Burr into a $100 bet, and the man stuck to his word. He came back looking for Coach, and he's going to pay Coach. So, hey, shout out Don Burr, man. Shout out the Coach. These two have been keeping us entertained for weeks now. So, shout out Don. Hey, I really do appreciate you, Don, man. You've been a lot of fun. We see you, man. We see you. And then, of course, we'll give the final bow once Coach confirms. We will give the final bow once Coach confirms. But so far, good job, Don. You are welcomed here. You are welcome here, Don. I know one of the stipulations of the bet was you couldn't be in here for a couple weeks or whatever. But look at So, like Coach said, Coach is like listening to me giving all these attaboys, and he's like, my bank account's still dry though. So we'll see. We'll see. Until the confirmation hits, though, we'll give you another applause on the way around once Coach confirms. But still a good sport. Still a good sport. All right, couple more questions. I'm gonna turn it over to you. Let's go rapid fire questions. Let's get a couple topics in here. Bang, bang, bang. Get them in there. Get them out. Let's get some questions about the game yesterday. What are we thinking? How are we feeling? It doesn't even have to be a question. Could be a thought process. Could be a talking point. Drop them. Drop them in the chat. Let's get through these. Let's bang them out. Bang, bang, bang. And get through this. The middle of the all right. This is what I was wanting. Middle of the defense, question mark. Is that like in regards to how we were getting gashed in the run game? If that is what you're saying, James, what I feel about that was it was a weird alignment situation. Of course, it's simple. It's simple gap assignment. It's simple gap leverage. If you open up the center of your defense to allow offensive lineman to double to backer, you're asking for problems up the middle in the run game. And so that was my biggest thing with getting gashed up the middle was why aren't we making adjustments? Clog up the A gaps, clog up the B gaps. We have speed in the linebacker core to help us with outside speed. So that was my biggest thing. Was like, why is it taking so long for us to adjust our defensive front? Why are we running so much wide 9 with our defensive line? We need to kind of adjust and kind of bring down the splits between our defenders to change the blocking assignments for these offensive linemen because it's not working to our benefit. And I would much rather clog up the middle, force Jamal Williams to go to the outside where we have Fred Warner, Aziz Al-Shaair, and Dre Greenlaw, who are the fastest linebackers in the NFL. So it was an interesting thing. All right. First one up. 49ers starting cornerbacks week 2. Going to be Emmanuel Mosley, hopefully going to be Diamador Lenore, and hopefully going to be K'Wan Williams. Again, I've been slowly mentioning it. K1 didn't look fantastic yesterday. He didn't have a great camp. I'm waiting to like, I'm not trying to bring attention to it. Just little concerned that we might be seeing a little bit of a K1 fall off. I hope not. Just 1 week. We'll see. But hopefully those guys are the situation. And again, to kind of circle back, what can we do to clear those big runs up the middle? It's just changing alignment. Just changing alignment. Again, like I said, we were spreading it out. We were inviting them to run up the middle, and they took advantage. A simple adjustment could have fixed that big time. But again, I don't know the hows and the whys of why they're doing it. I just know that a simple alignment adjustment would have changed all of that. Let's see. Do I see a trade for cornerback happening soon? I could, absolutely. I could, because it's at the point where it's like we are smashing the panic button. Like John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, I think, need to start looking again outside free agency of how they can acquire some more talent in that room. Because again, an injury to Emmanuel Mosley, and like just one more injury to that room, and we are in serious hurt, pain. Will Shanahan unleash Trey versus Jalen this week? I have no idea, man. I don't know what Kyle is necessarily doing with Trey. I don't necessarily love I don't mind having two quarterbacks if you let them play the quarterback position. But when we're bringing Trey Lance in to run designed quarterback powers and draws, I don't necessarily love that. How did we almost choke that game? We stopped progressing. We acted like we won in the third quarter. And then we got hurt, and then just completely messed up our entire energy. That's why I think we almost lost. Kinlaw, we could have used Kinlaw yesterday. Would have loved to see Kinlaw yesterday. The knee could be an issue, man. He had off-season knee surgery. Barely played in training camp because of the knee. Not playing. It's injury. You can't control injury. Injury is what injury is. Like, it's not a slight on Kinlaw or his ability, but we also know the best ability is availability. So gotta get Kinlaw out there. I'm not trading Aiyuk. I'm keeping Aiyuk. I'm feeding Aiyuk. I want Aiyuk to go ham. Again, a lot of this speculation talking about earlier, we're just looking at all the different possible ranges of outcomes. There's a million different ways we can view this. There's a million different lenses we can view it through. It can mean all different kinds of things. But I personally am not done with Aiyuk. I love Aiyuk. Like I said, I think I thought he was about to have 1,400 all-purpose yards this year. I love Aiyuk, and I love him for this team. But if Kyle doesn't, that's a much larger question. I don't think we should trade him, though. Am I worried about D'Amico Ryans? I just didn't like the adjustments. I didn't like the in-game adjustments. That was it. I didn't like the in-game adjustments. I felt like if I could indicate like some adjustments that could have been made on the D line to kind of stop the gashing through the middle. But again, we're sitting up from our couch, whatever. It's obviously a lot different in game, but I'm not worried yet. No, I would like to see them not be as vanilla. What did you think about Armstead, Bosa, Ford, Ebukam, third down pass rush package? Ooh, it was dirty. I like it. I like it a lot. Armstead put up a lot of pressures too. He didn't get home, but he put up a lot of pressures. Ford looked fantastic. Samson Ebukam looks fantastic. Bosa looks good. He's getting back into form. I really liked it. Quite a bit. Yeah, shout out Don Burr. We appreciate Don Burr. Oh boy, I'm way behind. I'm way behind. Let's see. All right, I'll do this one and then we will go back. The coach said very vanilla offense and we still dominated. Very pleased with the O line. Thank you for putting some respect on this O line. The coach knows. Kinlaw was missed in a big way. Facts. Ryans took his foot off the gas. Not Kyle. Stay aggressive. Offense will carry the D this year. Thought process. That's an interesting thought process. I haven't heard anyone yet say that D'Amico Ryans took his foot off the gas. I find that to be interesting. Um, Again, I personally feel like a lot of the issues was momentum based on Jason Barrett going down. I think it kind of really took a big toll on our guys, much more than they'd like the playoff. But yeah, like, and I mean, D'Amico wasn't very. I don't feel like D'Amico was extremely aggressive to begin with, so I don't know. But yeah, you don't want to play prevent. You just want to keep playing. Just keep playing your game. Uh, my favorite thing though is the offensive line looked great. Looked really, really good. All right. Shout out coach for the super chat. I'm trying to go back again. You guys are stacking these up. Hold on a sec. Da, 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 da. I mean, if the 49ers could swing a Stephon Gilmore trade, I think we're all feeling real nice right about now. But I don't know. I don't know what the asking price is. I don't know what our cap situation looks like right now. I don't know how all that stuff works. How does Raheem Mostert's injury affect the team? I think it affects certain special teams availabilities. I think it affects maybe special teams a little bit in regards to who they would have as returners, because Elijah Mitchell, could have been slated as one of the primary returners, but now he's looking like the primary back. So what is being affected by this injury is we'll now see Trey Sermon, where we could have maybe not seen Trey Sermon for a while. We're absolutely going to see Trey Sermon now, but that's why Elijah Mitchell is such a good fit, because he runs just like Mostert. He's very similar to Mostert. So I think with the backs that we do have, I think we'll be able to be okay and we'll be able to survive a lot of this. It's just he's a great leader. Clearly, he was headed for a huge game yesterday before he got hurt. It's just a really, really tough situation. And yeah, that is true about Gilmore. Gilmore is injured right now. He's not playing. So we'll see. We'll see. No rush defense. Yeah, it was interesting. It was, like I said, I felt like it was just based on defensive alignment. They could have made a couple shifts by how they stacked their defensive tackles in the gaps. That would change the way the blocking assignments occur for the offensive line. What I think of Bosa's big game yesterday, I thought he did good. I didn't think it was like a massive, insanely good game. I thought it was a perfect game for his first week back, knocked the rust off. I think Bosa's only going to get better from this point on. I think in about 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to see the real Nick Bosa. We're going to see Nick Bosa going ham, I think, in a couple weeks. But this week is going to be a really good test. This week, we're going up against a good offensive line this week. So all that stuff with the defensive line, we got to get that squared away, because we're going up against a really formidable offensive line this week. Let's see. Does Alshire seem quite a bit bigger this year? Yeah, he does. He's one of my breakout candidates this year. He was someone that I just got a really strong feel that he was going to have a breakout. When I interviewed Emmanuel Mosley, he mentioned Azeez Al-Shaair. I asked him, out of all these players on the defense, who's going to have a breakout year? He mentioned Azeez Al-Shaair. I'll give all the credit to Emmanuel Mosley. Emmanuel Mosley was the one got me headed down the track of Azeez Al-Shaair, and looking into Azeez Al-Shaair more got me scouting Azeez back in 2020, because I was like, well, that's interesting that you say that, Emmanuel, because you are a starting cornerback on this team. So I want to know what you're talking about. So I went back and watched all Azeez Al-Shaair, and I was like, oh, you could see the progression throughout the year. He was getting a lot better. To those last 2 games he had in 2020, Azeez Al-Shaair was balling. And I was like, oh, he's going to have if that's how he played in those last 2 games, like, he's headed in the right direction. And he came out on fire. Azeez was balling. Azeez was balling. Let's see what else we got. Azeez played great. I really like Samson, man. I think Samson, it brings this element of relentless pass rushing that we just love to have. I really like having him. I think he's only going to grow into his role more. He had 2 tackles on special teams, turning out to be a special teams ace. 2 tackles on special teams. Like, shout out Samson Ebukam, man. Balling. Let's see. There you are. So, of course, the super chat kind of brings you to the top of the list. I'm trying my best to work through these. Luis says Bosa's still testing his limits, but once he releases the beast, secondary shortcomings won't be as obvious. And I agree with that. I think that, there's a situation where Bosa is still in warm-up mode. Like, he's still, like, again, all of training camp, all of preseason, Nick Bosa did not perform in team periods. Again, that's where the real practice happens. That's where the real reps happen, in team periods. He didn't do any of that this offseason. So these games for him are legitimately like a little bit of a warm-up. So although I thought he did really well, I still thought he could have done better. I still thought he could have done a little bit better yesterday. But I also think Penei Sewell did a really good job as well. So Luis, I think you're right. I think he's still testing his limits a little bit. And I think in about 2 or 3 weeks from now, he's going to absolutely unleash it. Again, we got to hope D Ford's healthy. Samson Ebukam keeps coming along. Arden Key and these waves of defensive linemen. Absolutely. Great comment, Luis. Oh, come on, coach. What? Let's go. Let's go. Shout out, coach. Appreciate it, my brother, my guy, my homie. Look at coach, man. Hey, again, this means Don Burr paid. This means Don Burr paid coach $100 through a YouTube bet that he made right here on this channel. Congratulations to Don. Coach, congratulations to you getting your check. I mean, you didn't have to split it with me, but my goodness, I am absolutely thankful for the donation, and you splitting it with me, man. You take care of me, coach. I appreciate it. I really, really do. And again, shout out Don Burr for coming through, man. Shout out for Don Burr coming through and paying off the bet. Where's Don? Don, where are you? Where? Oh, there he is. Take your damn victory lap, man. You are welcome in this chat. We hope. I mean, you're damn near like honorary. Like, you're not a fan of the 49ers, but we just, like, you're a part of us now. So I hope you don't go anywhere, Don. Because you can still talk crap to us just about other teams, I guess. But Appreciate Don. Appreciate Coach. Let's go. Let's go. All that started right here. That's why. That's wild. Hey, but again, shout out Coach for him. Like, he said he was gonna do this. I was like, man, you don't got to do it. But shout out Coach, bro. Coach is a real one for sure. And of course, shout out Don Bird. Both these two made these streams hilarious the last couple weeks. So I appreciate you guys big time. That's awesome. All right, Coach, my guy, Don Burr. Legends. Legends. Absolute legends. All right. Wow. That's wild, man. That's wild. Love you guys. Love you guys. The double pancake. Oh, I love the double pancake as well. I'm gonna let this one marinate. Coach, so far, Coach, I think has hit. He's set the standard for like highest super chat like every step. Like I think he hit like the first 10, the 15, 20, and he drops a 50 bomb on me. Sheesh. We see you, Coach. We see you, Coach. Oh goodness. All right. Let's do a couple more questions. Bang bang questions. Bang bang questions. And then we'll get those out. I mean, honestly, it's Garoppolo until it's Lance. So I thought Garoppolo played well enough to keep his job. We saw situations where, Garoppolo wasn't as accurate down the stretch and wasn't playing as hot down the stretch. But he still was playing well and still managed the game very well. So until it's like a situation where Garoppolo is helpless, which I don't think is going to happen, I think you just keep rolling. I think, right? You just keep rolling forward with Garoppolo at this point until there's an absolute reason not to. We are getting physical for sure. Would like us to still get more physical. This is an interesting topic. Joseph says, do you see Washington trying to trade for Jimmy? Well, they did sign Heineke, however you say his name, I believe, to a 2-year extension this offseason. So they do have some form of confidence in him. And combined with the fact that Fitzpatrick's injury isn't season ending, they might try and stick it out. They might just try and go with it. See, this is the big thing with the trading Jimmy right now. Jimmy's contract has been fully guaranteed. So if the 49ers were to trade Jimmy Garoppolo at this stage in the game, they are trading away someone that they have paid $24 million to, and that number is not moving off the cap. So regardless of moving Jimmy, that cap number stays. If it was before week 1 and the 49ers traded Garoppolo before week 1, $24 million just disappears off the books. And the 49ers have all of a sudden all of this cap space to play with. But that didn't happen. And so that contract is guaranteed and paid out. So now the 49ers are dealing with a huge dead cap situation. If they were to trade, the only way I see them trading Jimmy is if someone comes with some heavy hitter picks. Like I'm talking about not just a second round pick, damn near 2 second round picks, or like a second and a third, or a second, third, and a second in 2022 or 23. Like, I just don't see a situation now where it's worth moving Jimmy unless you're getting some real compensation in return. And So at this point, I think Jimmy might be here to stay. I think he might be here to stay. Again, just never know. Just never know when it comes to the dollars. Like when you follow the money, I don't know if they're as open to trading him anymore because he got all that money from them. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the contract is a big issue, and still, if they were to want to trade him. Who starts with E-Man at cornerback? I think Diamador Lenore did a fantastic job. He's to me, he earned the right to start in E-Man's spot, and now he's absolutely earned the right to start opposite of E-Man with the issue to Jason Verrett. So Diamador Lenore is locked in. Ladies and gentlemen, Diamador for right now is locked in with this team. Like Diamador Lenore is doing a really good job of not bringing a lot of attention to himself, playing solid football and keeping and just doing his job. He's doing a really good job of that. What happened to Trey Sermon? Man, I don't know. I thought Trey Sermon was going to be a factor for us. We'll see what happens next week. Let's see if he bounces back. Next week is going to be a big bounce back week for Brandon Aiyuk and Trey Sermon. Those are two players that the entire 49er fan base, whether you believe there's something going on or not, you're going to be watching to see what happened and why they weren't available yesterday. The game was iced, but Debo muffed it, I guess. I don't know. There was a lot of things that occurred down the stretch. I kind of agree with this. When you got Cam, I mean, Cam is what Cam is. He's a bit of in my opinion, he's a bit of a shell of what he used to be. But he's free. He's free. Like you're not giving up trade. You're not giving up compensation. You're not paying a bunch of money. Cam is free, and he probably wouldn't be that expensive to sign for. Because if you looked at the deal he signed for, I think he got like $3 million guaranteed. I think like the overall total of it was like $11 million, but he had like $3 million guaranteed. Like it was not a nice contract, even though it looked a little bit better than it appeared. Red Eye said Brady had 379, Jimmy off by 65 yards. What about tonight's game, Ravens Raiders? What about it? Clelin Ferrell inactive. We're talking about surprise inactives. We're talking about former first rounders being inactive. Clelin Ferrell is inactive. The Raiders' number 4 overall pick from the very first selection of the Mike Mayock and John Gruden era is not playing. He is inactive. Not a good sign. It's not a good sign when you're a high draft pick and they're like, we're just not going to play you today. Doesn't matter. It's just not a good sign. Kittle was quiet. Kittle was a freaking savage. That might be Kittle's best game ever. That might be Kittle's best game ever. Like most complete game ever. Like Kittle was not quiet. I know what you're saying. He was quiet in the sense I think he had 4 catches, around 80 yards. Not a huge stat day, right? But Kittle in the run blocking game, he made a block that I literally just had never seen before. Like I've never seen a blocker pick up a guy off the ground and plow him into another defender to knock that defender down. I've never seen a 2-in-1 pancake like that. Like I've seen situations where you're running into guys and guys are falling over. Like Kittle straight up picked up another dude, used his body to hit another guy and brought both of them down. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I still don't feel like like it's getting the attention it deserves, but it was absolutely nuts. He was doing it all game. He was doing it all game, just demolishing dudes in the run game. And to me, that isn't. I mean, I watch him in the run game. I watch him block. So I wouldn't quantify that as being quiet. Like I said, I felt like that might have been one of his best complete games ever. I'm not sure I've ever seen, like, I think back of like 2019 versus the Ravens. Kittle was out of his mind blocking in that game. That was the Doug Gottlieb not a blocker game, where Doug Gottlieb said that Kittle, you know, decent decent blocker or whatever. He's like, not a blocker, but good receiver, not a blocker. And then Kittle went out and demolished the Ravens in the run game. So although maybe not a huge stat game, he had a huge game from a blocking standpoint. Like his presence was felt. Like in that locker room, when Kyle pulls up the tape in front of the crew, he's showing Kittle blocks. He's showing Kittle blocks for sure. Kittle Kittle put on a clinic in regards to blocking. So it was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Damn, you guys have dropped hella comments since that comment. Uh let's see. What let me try and catch up. I mean we've been talking about Trey Sermon quite a bit. Unless you have a specific point. No way. What? Oh my goodness. No way. What? Oh, what? Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. Damn, bro. That sucks, man. All right. So kind of some shitty news. Not the greatest news. It doesn't have like a huge impact onto our fan base or anything like that. But if you guys remember, do you guys remember Perry's Harrelson? He was our starting outside linebacker when we drafted Alden Smith. He wore number 98 for us. He passed away. Passed away at the age of 37. Dante Whitner just tweeted that he basically said RIP Perry's Harrelson. Damn, that sucks, man. I liked him. I liked him as a 49er too. I really did. Thought he was just a good player for us. Never was like a great player, but like he had all my respect for everything he did for us on that franchise. Man, that sucks. Damn. Only 37, bro. Only no. Alden Smith didn't pass. No. Perry's Harrelson. Perry's Harrelson almost passed, or he did pass. Damn, dude. That sucks. That really sucks, man. Thoughts go out to, of course, his family. 37, dude. That's crazy. Paris and VD got in a fight in camp. I remember that. Dude, Perry's he was a good player for us, man. He was a good player for us. That's a bummer. That is a big bummer. Dang. We were on a good vibe there too. I don't know the story. I just saw Dante Whitner's tweet. I don't know the story behind it, but that is tough, man. That's a family member, man. We call ourselves family, right? We're 49ers. That's family. Damn, dude. That sucks. I'm making a quick post. Hold on real quick. These posts are the worst. I always do not like having to post this type of stuff. It's brutal. Shoot. So, of course, thoughts and prayers with his family, man. Sheesh. If you guys see it, let me know. It's brutal. Gone too soon. Absolutely gone too soon. She's 37. Shoot. He was 5 years older than me, man. He's 5 years older than me. Could be my brother. That sucks. So prayers up. Terrible, terrible news. All right. Let's switch gears. That's terrible. That's awful. I already pulled this up. Why does it keep telling me to pull it up? I pulled it up. That's weird. Why is it acting like the super chat thing isn't working? All right. That sucks. I see someone asking what happened. Perry's Harrelson had passed away. We don't know why yet. Let me see here. What's going on? Quick question. You guys might know better than I do. Yes, absolutely. RIP. You guys might know better than I do. But if you have the super chat button like up at the top, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Like I can't pull up coach. It's like still doing the timer thing. Like I haven't pulled it up, but like I pulled it up, but it's acting like I didn't. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I just didn't know if you guys knew anything about that. Kind of an odd timing. All right. Well, how about we end it there? We're at it up on 2 hours anyways. Really, really tough to hear that news, unfortunately. So man, that sucks. That sucks. Like I said, I got lots of memories with Perry's. That's right around 2009, 2010 was when I dove into like taking my like 49er fandom and becoming a 49er fan, meaning I followed, just like all you guys, like you follow every news, every note, every update. Like I started doing that around 2009. Perry's Harrelson was on this team. Perry's Harrelson was on this team for quite some time. Is a big help for Aldon Smith, bringing Aldon along. Again, Aldon Smith had 14 sacks as a rookie, not as a starter because Perry's Harrelson was starting. Aldon was the situational pass rusher who would come in and do all that good stuff. So that's really unfortunate. I appreciate where'd it go? No, this is what I'm trying to pull up. Appreciate that, James. My friends and my family would have to agree with you, James. They're like, all you talk about, like, I'm not a talkative person. Like I'm not. So that's why it's crazy that I do these lives and I do these back and forths. Like I'm pretty introverted person actually. But when you get me when we're talking 49ers, when we're talking Niners, you open me up like a book. I'll say whatever. So I appreciate that. I would imagine a lot of you guys are like that as well. You just want to talk Niners and that's about it. But again, appreciate. We had a good show today. We had some good numbers today. We had really good commenters today. We had a couple tough conversations, couple tough subjects. We went down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole just to play with it, just to see if it stuck or not. I understand not everyone agrees with it, and that's okay. We're still family at the end of the day. We're still Niner fans at the end of the day. And guess what? We still want this team to win that 6th championship ring. So that's what we're going to do. We'll be back tomorrow, of course. Trying to wrangle some clips together and all that kind of stuff. But we'll be back tomorrow to do another breakdown, pick up on the news and notes, conversations from today. Again, thank you guys as always. I appreciate all you super chatters. I appreciate all you commenters and viewers and watchers, all of it. As always, like, subscribe, do the whole good thing. And we'll be back tomorrow to do it again. You guys have a fantastic end of your night. Go Niners, 1-0. We to the ship, boys.